This is the Spritz Girl Mindset Podcast, and I'm your host, Courtney Young. If girlhood is a mindset, this is where we practice it out loud and unfiltered. We're healing, we're yapping, and we're doing it with spritzes in hand. Here's your permission slip to be soft, messy, and magnetic as hell. So grab a spritz, grab a seat, no small talk, just the real stuff. Hello, welcome, Allie.
Hi, Courtney. I'm very, very excited to be a guest today.
I'm so excited to have you. I feel like this has been such a long time coming. We've been like dying to make this happen.
Yes. The ultimate yappers.
Of yapping. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it to you if you want to just like introduce yourself and tell my audience who you are and why you're here. And then I got some questions we'll get into.
Okay, perfect. I'm Allie. I'm one of Courtney's long distance friends, but whenever we talk, it's just like that good friendship where it's just right back where you left it. And we met through mutual friends and we just clicked. And right now I'm pregnant, so I haven't been doing as much as I normally do, but I'm typically like always doing some type of side project. I do stream on Twitch, which has been keeping me like mentally active. But I'm just really excited to be here today to like chat with Courtney. And I feel like we just love chatting about the same topics. And I'm so excited she's starting her podcast. So I'm excited to be here. And I'm pretty much an open book. So I'm excited to see what we're going to chat about today.
Yay. Yeah. Allie is one of my longtime little bestie girls. And then she's across the world, which we'll get into. We went and saw together in Germany, which was so fun.
The best.
And I'm very excited to be an auntie.
Yes, I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm 30 weeks pregnant now, so very tired. That's just the vibe, but yeah, very exciting. And it's crazy that I was thinking about because I saw some Taylor Swift like Eras Tour videos yesterday. And when we went to the Eras Tour last year, I had a recent miscarriage. So we were there and it was just very healing for me, like just being with the girls and stuff. And now a year later, I'm almost ready to give birth. So it's been like a fun full circle thing.
So crazy.
Yes.
All right. I want to go ahead and jump into it. So you said you're a Twitch streamer. That's your current side project. Allie has always, like she said, had a bunch of different side projects, creative, all that stuff. So I want to start by just tapping into this idea of like girlhood and growing up and gaming and how you kind of found yourself. Yeah. Tell me about like little Allie. Like what did little Allie have? Like let's get into that.
Oh my God. Wait, I got chills. I feel like being pregnant has made me really nostalgic and think about my inner child. But I feel like little Allie was very scared and she was a very creative person. I was always like sewing or like doing some DIY craft, but I never felt like I could like fully like enjoy those activities or like take it further and actually like learn my hobbies. So I'm kind of doing that now. Like I feel like I'm like, crocheting, doing scrapbooking, like a lot of things that I loved as a kid, doing it now. And my husband actually got me into gaming like 3 years into our relationship after me saying I would hate that. I don't want to do it. And then he was actually stationed in Korea for a year. And towards the end, I was just going crazy. I needed something to like just help me escape. So I found like the world of cozy gaming, like Stardew Valley and, cute games, not like shooter games or anything. And I always love sharing like my journey with stuff. So he was like, why don't you stream on Twitch? Like, you're a new gamer, you love like creating communities. And so I started that when we moved here. So it's been almost 3 years that I've been streaming and it's been like a good little side income and I've met really great people. So that's been healing for my inner child as well. Cause it's a lot of just like cozy, cutesy games that when I was little, I was like, oh, that's for boys. I can't play that. So it's been really, really helpful. And especially moving to a new country, I didn't have friends right away. So I was like, I need something to like do every day. And that really helped me.
Tell us about like your experience with moving across the world and like how you kind of like found yourself, found your people. What was
it?
That?
Was definitely crazy, but exciting because I always said I wanted to travel, of course. I never thought I'd do it like being married and with my husband. I thought it'd be like jumping from hostel to hostel, like doing it as cheap as possible and solo. And so it's been really nice being able to like travel with, someone else, love of my life, and just like enjoy it all. It definitely is hard. It's a lot of like, paperwork and lots of culture shock, but I really enjoyed it. And I told myself when we got here, I would be super intentional about making friends, which is like kind of Courtney's bread and butter because it's very hard to do as an adult. And luckily in the military community, there's lots of those like cheesy, like meet a friend meetups and, Facebook groups. And I was like, this is not really for me, but I'm going to force myself to do it. And of course, there's some, friend meetups that like didn't click or didn't work out, but I've met like some really great supportive people over here. So yeah, definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah, that's the thing about it is hard to make friends when you're in your 20s. And
Yeah.
like I feel like especially in your 20s, and I've talked about this frequently on the show, like that's a very isolating time when you're in your 20s
Hmm.
because people are always saying now like 30s is the new 20s. So the
Yeah, it really is.
we were like taught, I feel like, as kids was, oh, you're going to get to your 20s, you're going to have graduated college, you're going to have it all figured out. It's going to be super easy for you.
Yeah,
But then the world kind of shifted and COVID happened and nobody knew who they were. We all lost years and time.
that's true. Yeah.
And so now people are saying, well, the 30s are the new 20s. That's when you're like more stable and that's when your income is better and that's when you're like a little more grounded. And so your 20s can be super isolating because you're in the middle of just figuring all your shit out.
Yeah, definitely. And when, especially earlier college for me is when everyone's like down your throat being like, you need to figure out what you want to do. And so even looking back on my college days, I'm like, yeah, I made friends and I had fun, but I could have let loose a little bit more. And so I'm kind of, I guess, doing that more now. I feel like I have more freedom to do that. So
Yeah. And
yeah,
so you just have
mhm.
more time to find who you are. Right.
Exactly.
You're in
Exactly.
Enneagram too, just like
Yes, I am.
we're both people pleasing types. And one of the things that I
Yes.
ask a lot of my clients is how do you describe yourself without describing what you do for other people?
Oh, I actually listened to well, it wasn't your podcast, but it was the I Need a Friend podcast. And
Oh,
you had yeah. And I was like, fuck, I don't know how to do that. But I would say I'm very like bubbly and like very full of life, very creative. I love a DIY project or, you know, needing to do something cheaper. I'm like, I can make that. Um, I would say I'm definitely a loyal friend, which I've kind of been almost not struggling, but pulling back on that in a sense of like I used to always be there for everybody all the time. And especially through pregnancy, I'm like, it's okay if you're not available all the time and you don't want to go out. Let's see if I can think of one more.
being loyal and
Um,
supportive doesn't mean that you have to be self-sacrificing. And I
exactly.
big
Yeah.
difference. It's so easy to like give all of yourself all the time to the point
Yeah.
out and you're exhausted. And that's not the goal. When we're showing up in our relationships, you want to be able to show up fully as yourself and who you are
Yeah.
and find people that are going to meet you in the middle on that. If a relationship
Yeah.
is dependent on you giving and giving and giving and giving and never being able to receive, especially in such a pivotal season for you, like
Yeah.
not your people.
Yeah, definitely. So, like on your stories the other day, you said something along the lines of like, what kind of like, how do you like to receive love in friendships or like what's important in friendships? And I'm definitely the friend that's just like, I may not text you all the time. And I've gotten better at saying like, I'm a terrible texter. It's not you. Like, it's just me, but like, I still love you. And people being like the same way, like very low maintenance friends in terms of like communication or, you know, if I don't hang out with them every day, they're not like, do you hate me?
Right.
So that's kind of the friend I've been becoming. And it's honestly really nice because I'm becoming more and more introverted and I just enjoy like, my at home time. And so having friends that get that or come to me is really nice too.
Also, again, like you're in such a pivotal season in your life, like pay to be selfish. Like
Yeah.
pregnancy is hard. As somebody who is not pregnant, does not have,
Yeah.
I've had lots of friends go through it. Like
Yeah.
hard. It's physically
Yeah.
taxing on your body. It's exhausting. And I do feel like
Yeah.
society tends to like normalize downplaying that. And I want to reject
Yeah.
like that's such
That's
bullshit.
That's what I've been saying. I'm like, obviously, like pregnancy is normalized. People have been doing it for years, but I'm like, it's crazy how much like pregnant people try to just operate normal, and it's like we're going through, our bodies are not ours right now, and we're still, expected to show up to work, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
I'm just a girl. I simply cannot.
Yeah, so I'm currently not working either because it's very hard to work over here. I did work for a little bit, but I could only legally work 10 hours a week. So even when I was working, it wasn't a lot. So that kind of, segueing in a whole different direction, that kind of also led to my ADHD diagnosis. Because I kept my whole life, I'd say, well, once I'm done with like school or college, my brain will settle down. I'll be able to keep up with stuff. And then we move here and I'm just, walking to the bakery every day and just have nothing on my to-do list, but something as simple as doing the dishes I could not do because I was so overwhelmed. And I'm like, this is not working. And so especially with, wanting to have a kid, it was nice that I had time to go to ADHD group therapy before I got pregnant. And that helped a lot in terms of like setting new routines and understanding better why I always feel quote unquote lazy,
Kill you.
Yeah.
Fine. Like, I was literally telling Matt, so Matt, my husband, he was in Japan for the last month. And my house, I'm not proud of this. It was an actual shit show. Like,
No.
it was a disaster. Like, it wouldn't matter how much I would want to do the dishes. I just simply could not. And that's
Yes.
me being like, no, I'm lazy. I can't do the dishes.
Yeah.
It's literally debilitating. Like, you cannot to do the dishes. That's the problem. I want to do
Exactly. And you're beating yourself up for it every second of the day, but you just can't.
And if you're not, neurospicy, if you're a neurotypical, that's not necessarily something a lot of people understand. So like the fact that you have the awareness and are setting yourself up for success. And then to balance that with being pregnant and going through an ever-changing body, like that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah. I can totally relate because my husband, he goes on like work trips kind of like once a month. And this last one, I was like 28 weeks pregnant and my house was a mess, specifically the dishes. I literally had to throw away like a few pots and stuff because they just got so gross. I'm like, I'm not washing these. And then I actually had a friend come over and stay with me for a few days and she did the dishes for me. And I was just like, wow, like this is like such a like nice adult friendship. And she didn't judge, how messy everything was. And it was just really nice. So
I love that for you.
yeah,
I really love that for you.
it was wonderful.
I feel like that kind of like segues to my next thing. Like, how has your own girlhood, so your own like, finding who you are, figuring all this stuff out, going through and getting your ADHD diagnosis, finally like getting to experience pregnancy, moving across these things, how has that shaped how you show up today in your friendships and your new motherhood online? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah. Honestly, like it's helped me go slower, I think. Like I used to be very just like, I go and always feeling like I needed to like work on myself every second, like to like fix myself, especially with the ADHD. It was always just like, okay, I got a new planner. This is gonna fix me. Something in therapy that really stuck with me was just like with finding out you have ADHD, it's not about fixing your brain or getting yourself to do it the way everyone else does it. It's just finding another way that works with your brain that's going to make it easier.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh my God, like it took such a weight off because I'm like, I don't have to, there's nothing to fix. I just need to adjust other things. And then also just like, I guess moving away from people, it's made me, I don't know, I almost want to, it's not that I'm like jaded or anything, but like, there's people who say they're going to visit and don't, and you work your life around that, or family who says they're going to come. So I've really learned to just like, be like, okay, I understand that family and friends may want me closer, but at the end of the day, me and my husband get to make the decisions we want to make. And, people said, don't have a baby overseas. And we didn't even fully plan this one and it just happened. And I feel like I'm still a very anxious person, but a little bit more just like, it's relaxed me a lot. Like still struggle with it, but it really has. And, we don't even know where we're going next. And normally I'd be like freaking out. And now I'm just like, honestly, whatever. They're going to tell me eventually. I know we have to leave in November no matter what. I have no control. So I'm just going to go with it. And same with pregnancy, like still have anxiety about it, but I've had to just trust my body more. And so, yeah, it's been a lot of learning to just like let go, which is very hard for me.
Yeah, you're talking and I'm like,
So,
I don't love that for me.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's something so powerful, one, about just like moving away and getting away from convenience.
Yeah. I'm a huge proponent of that.
A lot of these
So,
relationships that we form up to this point are formed out of a basis of convenience. And it
mm,
really shows
yeah, that's
like
true.
what family is going to truly like be there for you? What friends are going to truly be there for you? Are they loving you and for
Yeah.
you, or are they showing up because they have
Hmm.
where it's convenient for them? And for you to
Yeah.
be able to hold grace and also like still love those people and also be like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be resentful. I can love them for where they're at, but I don't have to
Yeah.
to XYZ. And also, hey, you say that we're close. Maybe you should show up a little more. Like those are both
Yeah.
valid things. And I feel like the way you're balancing those is really beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, I look back because we moved to Germany 3 years ago. And even after a couple months of being here and going back home, some of my family was like, "Oh my God, you just seem like such a grown woman now. Like you just changed." And I was like, "I've only been there for a few months." I even, a year ago to now, I feel like a different person. Like I've just changed a lot, but still feel like myself. And yeah, in terms of the friendship, even during pregnancy, because like it is nice when people show up, but I'm still very aware like everyone's adults. They can't just like be here all the time. Like I'm not looking for that. Uh, but just knowing the difference between like I'm a very laid back friend. A lot of my friends are that way, so we don't chat all the time. But there's a difference between that and then, you're giving and giving a lot and it's time to just be like, okay, this is causing like anxiety. I need a break. And yeah, also just learning to not be as extreme. Like it's okay to take a break from a friendship. It doesn't have to be a huge blowout or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I've
And
definitely
everything in life, not everything is.
yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to learn gray area. That's also been my biggest like life adjustment is learning about the gray area.
I struggle with that too. So much easier to
Definitely.
be black and white. So
I
much.
know. Mm.
And it's not good for you because it sets you up for disappointment, but it's
Yeah,
much easier.
definitely.
All right. Well, let's switch topics a little bit because something I know you're really passionate about is endometriosis, PCOS, owning your story, advocating. I want
Yes.
to I want to take advantage of the fact that we have you here as a resource to talk about that.
Yes.
So, can you walk us through your journey with endometriosis and PCOS and what were some of those like signs and challenges for you?
Yes. I get like giddy talking about this because I like again, it's one of those thinking of little Allie things where like I was so shy and now I have a voice and can share and this is something that a lot of people like don't know about. But yeah, I started my period when I was 15. So like a little late than some people. And I was basically like passing out in school, be in so much pain. And you just kind of hear people say, "Oh, well, yeah, I get period cramps too." And I'm like, okay, so I guess this is what everyone's feeling. Like, and so my mom luckily took me to the doctor. She still apologizes because she's like, at the time, the doctor literally said, "Welcome to womanhood. Here's birth control," which did help. This was also, like 10, 15 years ago. So the birth control did help. But what I realized when I went to college was it was just like masking my symptoms. So I got off the birth control at the time and all the symptoms came back. And so I went into just like research mode because I was like, I can't be living like this because I'd have to leave class. Um, I'd be just out of commission for like 2 days. A lot of my pain was like feeling like barbed wire, like wrapped around my ovaries, passing blood clots. Yeah, like a lot of just like insane pain. So if you're missing school a lot or you're having to miss work because of your period, that's like the biggest sign to like, it may not be endo or PCOS, but just like something's not right. It happens that like it's normal or it's common, but it's not normal. And so when I first went to a gynecologist when I was 19, she immediately diagnosed me with PCOS. So I thought it was just that. But even at that appointment, she just said, "It's going to be hard to have kids. Come back to me when you want to try." And I was literally crying in front of her and she was just like, "All right, see you later." Like there was no support, no,
Gives me nuts
nothing.
that this is the OBGYN experience.
I know, I hate it. Uh,
Honestly, like, I also have PCOS, and I
mhm.
opposite of you. I do not want to have kids. And my
Right.
OBGYN, same thing. When I got diagnosed with PCOS, they were like, "Are you sure you don't want to have children? Are you sure
Mhm.
it's going to be really hard for you with your PCOS? You should start birth control." And like, I'm not, for some people,
Yeah.
birth control is helpful.
Yes.
Not
Yeah.
for everyone, and for some people, it makes things way worse. So the fact that we think
Exactly.
that's the only option, I'm, like, angry for you in this
I
moment.
know. I
Carry
mean,
on. I don't
see,
mean to cut you off.
it's the same way where it's like, I'm not just, saying everyone get off your birth control now. Everyone has a different situation. But yeah, because the other thing with just because you don't want to have kids, you still want a quality of life. And PCOS affects a lot of just day to day things, weight gain, insulin resistance,
Same
still
thing.
period pains. Yeah. Oh, I know. I've had so many during pregnancy. It's been even worse. But the other thing is with endometriosis, they always say, oh, well, go on birth control. It'll stop the growth, but it doesn't necessarily stop the growth. There's currently no cure for endo. So all those years I'm on birth control, but the endo is still growing. And so when I finally got off, it was like a year after my PCOS diagnosis, I started looking into more things. And I was like, I feel like I'm having different symptoms than just PCOS. So I heard about endo and I went to a few doctors, and one doctor was like, yeah, you might have a little bit of endometriosis in there, which is a wild statement because you can even have one lesion of endometriosis and that can cause immense pain. And so I started looking for a doctor, and I actually found I was only seeing female doctors at the time. I found a male doctor who my insurance took, and he had one Google review about helping with endo. So I was like, I'm going to go there. And he saved my life. Like, he was to the point, he was like, I've seen this before. We're scheduling you for surgery in like 2 weeks. And right now, surgery is the gold standard for diagnosing it as well. Because it
Crazy.
doesn't, yeah, it doesn't show up on scans. So, and of course, they can send celebrities to space, but they can't make a scan that will show endo. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, come on, it's time. There's also no known cure. They don't know the reason it starts. There's not a lot of research on it. So getting the surgery was amazing. A lot of people can not have great results. It can come back. But for the past like 3 years, I've only had one endo flare up. And when I was at that point when I got the surgery, I was like just in a very dark spot because I was like, if this doesn't go away and this is just my life, because with endo you can have daily pain even when you're not in your period, which is what I was experiencing. And I was like, how can I wake up like this every day? And so definitely saved my life. And yeah, I'm always someone you can reach out to if you're like, hey, I'm having these symptoms, were they similar to yours? Or I'm big on like advocating for yourself at the doctor, so like writing a list before you go, and just if you're an anxious person, just hand them the list, because if you're like me, you'll be like, oh yeah, it's not that bad. Finding doctors that will try and get to the root cause or refer you to someone rather than acting like they know everything and just saying birth control. So yeah, I could word vomit about it all day, but
I love
it's
it because it's something
it's
that
been a
we
journey.
talk about.
Yeah, so it's been a journey. And one thing I will say, which is like definitely not me saying this happens to everyone, but just to hopefully give people hope if they're still trying. I have endometriosis, PCOS, adenomyosis, which is when like the lining of your uterus grows like, or like the cells that are like in the uterus grows within the lining of your uterus, so it makes it really thick, gives you heavy periods. um, Also, I didn't have a period for 6 months. It never came back after my miscarriage. And we weren't tracking ovulation. We weren't trying. And somehow I got pregnant. Somehow I thought my period was coming back when I was having the symptoms. And then I tested positive for a pregnancy test. So I know there's so much stress around like, make sure you're eating this PCOS diet and doing this and working out. And a lot of people do need help from doctors to get pregnant. So thankfully that's there. But just know like your body's not like, I always thought, okay, my body's too broken. I'm never going to get pregnant. And the fact I got pregnant at, like what people would say is probably like my unhealthiest body point is like crazy to me. So I always say she's a strong baby, and just, excuse me, burping is like my biggest pregnancy symptom. And she just wanted to be here because she somehow fought through all of the barricades. And yeah, so yeah, it really does. Cause I'm just like, damn. So yeah, just know that, you can be kinder to yourself and not just constantly trying to like do a new diet so hoping for anyone wanting pregnancy that you get that. So,
Ah, that's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Of
Uh,
course, yeah.
what do you wish people actually like understood about chronic pain or invisible illness?
God, that just,
That's the
like, made
thing with
me, like,
and
deep breath.
like oh, sorry, they're both
Yeah.
invisible, and I feel like it's the same with ADHD. Like we've talked a lot about
Yeah.
different invisible like things. Like these are real struggles that people go through, and as somebody who's
Yeah.
for them, like when you were going through that, like what do you wish people would understand about it?
Wow, that is, like just even, like, someone wanting to understand feels so good, you know what I mean? Um, I would say just believing people is, like, the simplest thing. Like, if I'm giving advice to someone who doesn't have it and they're like, "Oh, my friend has it," or whatever, just know they're not trying to be a burden, or they're not just like making it up just so they can get attention. Like, and they're probably just as confused as you are, because it takes years to get answers most of the time. Like for endo, the typical diagnosis is 7 to 10 years, and also that we can't really control when it's going to flare up, so it could lead to canceling work plans, or needing you might have had plans to walk around the city all day, and now that's not really going to happen. So just having some grace for that. Also, if your like partner has it, just being as open to it as possible. Cause I know sometimes it can be like, okay, I'm doing like the first like probably year of our marriage, like my husband had to do everything. It was like the worst of my endo, and he was amazing. Like it's very helpful to have a supportive partner. If your partner is like causing you more stress about your chronic illness, that it's not worth it.
Mhm.
Yeah, because you need the support, and most doctors aren't going to believe you. So if you have your partner there that's like reminding you you're not crazy, it's very helpful. And then also, I would say in the workplace, it'd be a lot more helpful if people were understanding. I was lucky, and at the time my endo was at its worst before surgery. I was working in an office and we were traveling, and I was like, I'm gonna have to quit. I can't do this. She actually had endo. So that's kind of where I got the idea of endo as well. And she was like, so when I had to leave early, like she understood. And now I've met my husband after seeing my symptoms when he's at work. He's able to look for people who are like leaving early a lot, or, saying like, oh, I'm on my period, and they're just like dead for the day. So just keeping an eye on the people in your workplace as well, and having grace for if they have to leave early, because I know as like a coworker that can be so annoying, but just know we're as annoyed with ourselves as you are. So, and we hate that we're causing need for things to need wiggle room. But yeah, just having understanding, even if you don't understand. Like I've learned that empathy really is a hard thing, like if you haven't gone through it yourself. Like you can feel bad for somebody, but like the true empathy for someone with a, chronic illness is so hard, because it's so multifaceted. Like you can't understand it. So just trying, asking questions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
being curious, listening to understand instead of listening to respond, genuine
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
the other
Hmm.
perspective. Yeah, those are all incredible. Do you ever feel pressure to like be okay when you weren't? And
Yeah.
how did you navigate that in your relationships and social spaces?
Oh my God. Yeah. I would say mostly at work and school. Especially when I didn't know what it was. Through college, I was a server and bartender. And I remember one time I was driving to work, and because I also had irregular cycles. So you never know when that pain's going to hit. And once my period started, I had maybe an hour to get home, get in the bathtub before I'm like passing out, about to throw up, shitting myself, like in so much pain. I was on my way to a shift, and I was just like pale, like leaning over my steering wheel. And I got to my shift, and I was like 45 minutes late to my shift, even though I was at work, because I was just laying on the bathroom floor. And when I finally came out, I told my boss, and I was like, hey, having really bad period pain. Like, I need to go home. And he's like, we're actually really busy. Like, I need you to just stick it out through the rush. And then I'll send you home. And I ended up being the last one to go home, because people hear period pain and they're like, oh, yeah, like whatever. Everyone gets that, cramps. And at the time, since I didn't know it was wrong, I was like, okay, you're right. Like, I guess I do just have to suck it up. Um, and times like that were just miserable. Or in college. At this time, I knew I had PCOS, so I ended up emailing the professor after, but he was just one of those douchebags, like on a power trip where like he was very weird about attendance. And I got my period and I was like, oh no, felt like I was on fire and I still had to drive home. So I was like, he's going to call me out the second I stand up, but I got to go. And he's like, Miss Alexandra, leaving class you're not going to count for attendance. And then I'm like, that's fine. I need to go. And I ended up emailing him like a strongly worded email saying like, this is what I have. I had a very limited time to get home before it was unsafe for me to drive. Thanks for calling me out in class about it though. Like it was that important. You had
What
to
an
let the whole class
asshole.
know. Yeah. And so those are the times where you're like, oh my God, like I'm being a nuisance or like I'm not as good as the other students. And the fact that I had to sit there and contemplate, okay, is it worth staying? I'm not going to be able to like drive home soon when I should have just been like, let me dip out. But it caused so much anxiety because I was like, I have to be okay like the other kids. So,
Oh, sure, before your ADHD diagnosis or even like early in
oh
your
God,
life,
yeah.
it's like I could absolutely see a world where so many of those feelings.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was probably the worst because even like when I went to college, I'm so glad I went and pushed through and stuff, but I did it because I wanted to prove to myself like I could, and it was so hard because I was trying to study normal like the other kids. My brain was so tired after. It took all my energy because my brain doesn't work that way like in the normal school setting. And I would always just tell people, yeah, I was such a bad student in high school because I would skip school all the time, just like crying because I felt trapped in the classroom. You can't move for 7 hours. You're just like sitting in every classroom. All my friends were on the AP track, like AP classes, and I was trying to keep up just being in honors. And it was just miserable for my brain. And so I just always had this idea I was a bad student. And now I'm just like, no, I just genuinely like had ADHD and I tried my best. Like, but yeah, I feel so bad for all the kids who like, I feel like it's getting better now, like more talked about now, but especially 10 years ago, it's just like, oh, you're, fumbling through schoolwork, your backpack's a mess. Like, I never had a pencil because I was always losing it. And all my friends had, their life together. And so I just had really low self-esteem,
Yeah.
especially in high school and
Oh my,
college.
I'm confirmed ADHD diagnosis,
Mhm.
pursuing. I'm self-diagnosed autistic.
Like,
The combo of it all. But
yeah,
I almost had the opposite experience as you because I knew immediately that college wasn't going to be the path for me. It's
yeah,
nothing I ever pursued. I was that kid in school who I would, you know, pay attention in class and I would like learn, but I wasn't stimulated. And so because I wasn't stimulated, I wasn't doing my homework. So my teacher
yeah. My
was
God,
mad at
yeah,
me because I was so smart and I would pass the test, but I wouldn't do the work. So I'd be failing the class. And I
exactly.
so much with like AP classes because of that. Every AP class I took, I did fine in the class, but I failed the test because I wasn't doing the work.
That test too, it's like 3 hours long, you're in a quiet room. That was my nightmare. I
Yeah.
only took 2 AP classes, and it took all my willpower to get through them, but, like, even the testing scenarios are, like,
Not
terrible
set up
because
for neurospicy people.
yeah, I need to be tapping my pencil. I need to get up and pace, like yeah, wow.
Yeah, I
And
need
also I
like
yeah, exactly. And I feel like as a young girl, also when you're like doing quote unquote good in your classes, like you're doing good in the class, like they're like, why would you have ADHD? Like you're passing or, you're smart. And it's like, that's not what it's about. It's about like how I process things and my brain's always spinning, can't keep up. I didn't do homework either. And I would also feel like a bad person because I would have to cheat off my friends. Cause I'm like, well, I have to keep my grades up, can I copy your homework? So that just, yeah, led to more of the feeling, super low self-esteem. So I totally
well,
understand.
the thing with that too is like it presents so differently in women. Like in women
Yeah.
don't get diagnosed as early because
Hmm.
a lot of the symptoms for women with ADHD are your overthinking or
Yeah.
like, you know, that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
it's like I got misdiagnosed with just anxiety for the longest time.
Yeah, same, of
And
course.
it
The
wasn't
typical.
until
Yeah.
I started taking anxiety medication and taking note of all my symptoms where I was like, okay, well, like the overthinking is like less, but all of my
Mhm.
is still happening.
Exactly, yeah.
And it was like, what's so crazy is for women, like a lot of times your anxiety is caused because of ADHD, not to mention things like
Mhm.
PCOS and endo make anxiety so hard.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
a symptom of that. So for me, it was, all right, well, I think I just have anxiety, but no, it was, I have ADHD and I have anxiety because I have ADHD. Kind of like how
Exactly.
rectangle, but a rectangle is not always a square.
Yeah, finding out where the anxiety is coming from. Like, I believe you. I feel like everyone has that typical, like, yeah, like, 5 years ago, I got diagnosed with anxiety, but like, it feels like there's something more. And everyone is just given anxiety diagnosis, but you're still crumbling. It's like, okay, well, what else is the issue here? And that was me with ADHD as well. Like, nothing worked when you're trying to just like fix it or, come up with a new like routine and you're like, I'm gonna stick to it. Like it never worked for me. And so,
Journal
yeah.
planners. I laughed so hard when you said
Yeah.
maybe
It's like, yeah,
I'm not gonna fill it out.
no. Yeah. You're excited about it for a week and then you're back on your bullshit and you're like, then you're hard on it's like this cycle because then you're hard on yourself. You're like, why am I not like using enough willpower? Do I not care enough? That was me as well. It's like, do I not care enough about my house or my friends and family that like I'm not keeping up with this stuff? And it's like you burn out that way.
Like we're not made to function in a neurotypical world, but the world is set
Yeah.
for neurotypicals and not neurospicy people.
Yes, and that's been, like, the most freeing thing because, like, for example, one of the hardest things for me is, like, cleaning the shower. I hate it. I hate that you get wet, like, I don't like the whole experience, I hate it. So, I'd clean the bathroom, and then I'd always skip the shower, and I recently learned from a friend, she keeps one of those, like, the scrubbies where you can put soap in it? Like, she's like, "I keep one of those in the shower, so when I'm conditioning my hair and it's just sitting there, I'm sitting there scrubbing the shower." She's
That is
like, yeah, so I've been doing that and my shower's clean because she's like, it's kind of like stimulating to be like scrubbing and stuff like that too. You're already in the shower, you're
yeah.
already wet, you're not getting your clothes wet, feeling dirty after. And I'm like, that's the kind of stuff I look for to try and like switch things up instead of being like before I'd be like, no, everyone cleans their shower when they clean the bathroom, like get it together. Why can't you do this? I'm just like, oh, I'm just gonna do it a different way. And
I love
I don't
that.
need to, yeah, it's been so helpful. So
Really gonna go buy one of those scrubby.
no, it's great. So, and I also like showers for me. I wish they were relaxing, but they're more like a terrible sensory experience for me, like getting out and it's cold, my wet hair.
Yep.
But now that almost makes me excited for the shower because I'm like, I can't wait to use my scrubby. So the whole thing, it's helped with everything, just that
Yeah.
little switch.
The
So
sensory stuff is so real though. Like if there's
yeah,
a dog, one of them I have to use like a powder to like brush her teeth or whatever. And when
right.
a protein powder or you're
Yeah.
you need to get the scoop, but the scoop is always at the bottom of the powder.
Yeah.
The idea of taking my nails and taking my hands and digging in the powder to get the
Yeah.
out gives me the heebie-jeebies. I hate
That
it.
just made my shoulders like clench. Yeah.
Ice cream, that's another one I've realized. Like I'm fine.
Really?
Oh my god, I love ice cream. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm finally in a place where I'm like taking ownership of my like quirks and
Yeah.
sensory things I don't like. Because I used to be like, I don't have any weird sensory things. No, nah, bitch. You
Yeah.
have ice cream on a cone is my worst nightmare.
Really?
Hate it so much because if you don't eat it fast enough, that shit goes all over your hand.
Yeah. If you lick too hard, it's gonna fall off.
And if the ice cream melts and it gets on my hands and my hands are sticky, I will not
Yeah.
do it. I literally cannot think about anything else except for getting
Yeah.
my hands. Like,
Yeah.
so valid. And I've just learned that, like, again, this world is made for neurotypicals. And
Mhm.
not up to us to change the world, but it's up to us to start taking ownership and
Exactly.
the things that make us who we are and that make us unique. So now I have an issue with ice cream. I was on a walk with a friend. I had ice cream in a waffle bowl. I didn't think it was going to drip. It still dripped. I'm sitting here going like this on our walk. And before we get started, I'm like, I'm so sorry, Chloe. I have to go wash my hands immediately because I cannot
Yeah.
saying.
Mhm.
Like having people in your life that are going to accept you for that and encourage that or pay
Yeah.
those things is so important, but they can't pay attention for those things if we're not vocalizing them.
Yeah, that's true, and it kinda always goes back to me to, like, having a supportive partner because they'll see something sometimes that you don't. So, like, for example, for me, kinda like going in terms of, like, your friends accepting you, is I always growing up, I would like, told I had an addictive personality because when I liked a hobby or liked something, I loved it. I hyperfixated on it, did it forever, like and my husband, I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, I have an addictive personality." He's like, "You always say that, but I've known you for, like, 5 years." He's like, "And if anything, like, you have the opposite." He's like, "You have your hyperfixations that you like for 3 weeks, and then you completely drop it and you find something else." He's like, "You just grew up as, like, an ADHD kid who loved her hobbies and stuff like that." He's like, "You're not, like, some addict because you end up really loving things." And so my friends would always kinda make fun of me because I was just I'd get so into things. Even with jobs, if I really loved my job, I'd have all the T-shirts from it, like, I just get into things, and I always felt weird about that. I'm like, "Why does no one else, like, love things like I do or, like, not be able to stop thinking about them?"
Yeah.
And now I'm just like, "Oh, yeah, that was just ADHD," and it takes such a weight off when you can just be like, "Oh, yeah, it's just that explains it," and you
Or
move forward.
like, if you have ADHD, you have special interests. And at first I was like, I don't have any special interests. And then I was like,
Courtney.
every single fact about reality TV that there is to know,
Yeah,
all the conspiracy theories about Taylor Swift. Oh, the
yeah.
Enneagram? Homegirl, that's a special interest.
Yes. You had a podcast about it, like,
Church at
so
the one point in my life where that's a special interest. Like,
exactly, yeah. That's why I think we clicked so well because I had never met someone like, my friends in high school would always say, like, "You don't even have to drink because 'cause you're just high on life, like, you just love everything, you think everything's the coolest thing," and, like, you're very much like that, like, when you're doing a trip or an event, like, you go all in, and
yeah.
I've never found someone who, like, does that and
No,
is,
I
like,
love that you're
excited about every detail, and I'm like, "Oh my god, I've always had to, like, feel like I couldn't show that part of me, and I'm like, Courtney is just goes all in and has fun and yeah.
well, I'd be
So
looking at you and thinking this,
yeah.
which is exactly why we clicked. All right. I want to
Mhm.
transition to like our last section is about
Yes.
the mom.
Yes, oh my god. I'm, like, so excited to be a mom, and I've always said I feel like my 30s are gonna be my prime, and I never knew why, but it was just, like, the vibe I got, and I'm gonna be, like, inching into my 30s now as a mom, and that's just something I've always wanted, and I just feel like I already feel like once she gets here and I become a mom, it's of course gonna be hard and I'm gonna be crying a lot and figuring things out, but, like, I just know that's gonna be, like, my biggest growth point and also just, like, finding a whole new love for life, seeing things so differently, like, I already feel that change, like, brewing in my heart, And since I wouldn't say I'm having kids late in life. I'm gonna be 27 when she's born, but especially in the military community, most people have 2 kids by, like, 20. So I've seen a lot of people have kids, and I've been able to see how they get very lost in motherhood and, caring a lot about what other people think. So I've been able to kind of already start working on that before having a kid. So those are things I'm gonna watch out for, make sure I'm still taking some time for myself. And like one thing I'm really excited about is finding my style postpartum. So that's going to be like the main thing I focus on. That's like stuff I can go do by myself and still enjoy without just always being all about the baby. But at the same time, I know that she's just going to change me in so many ways. And she already has. Like thinking about October when I found out I was pregnant, I'm already such a different person. Like just learning to like let go a little bit more because you have no control in pregnancy, which is very hard for me. So, trying to take things less seriously. And yeah, I'm so excited to see how motherhood's going to change me. I think it's going to be very positive for me, and I'm just so excited.
Are you kind of navigating that like in between space right now, like where you're still you, but also stepping in?
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that the other day, and my husband's kind of on the same page. Like, it just, especially now at 30 weeks, we're in the last trimester, kind of the home stretch, and it's like, it's just this limbo phase. And that's kind of one of my least favorite phases because I've learned that my least favorite emotion is anticipation. I'm not good at it. I'm not patient. And so I'm just like having to try and find other little goals to work on than just making it another week in pregnancy. Because if I just think about that, I'm gonna go crazy. So yeah, I'm trying to just like I don't know, like I'm so excited for that change I'm gonna have, but I'm still having to be in this moment, which is honestly hard. So I wouldn't say I know how I'm navigating it because it's definitely the hardest part for me right now. So,
Love that you said that anticipation is like the hardest emotion for you.
yeah, I'm not good at
I
it.
But like I really identify and resonate with that. Like I'm not
Yeah. I've never been able to put it into words until like pregnancy, but and it makes me anxious. Like it's why I don't really like surprises because it's all I can think about. When I know something exciting is happening, I cannot think about anything else. Like to an unhealthy point. Even though it's something exciting, it's like, okay, girl, like you're stressing yourself out. Time's not going to move any faster. So yeah, just trying to like do things around the house, prep for the baby, like do cute things that make me excited about the baby while still being like, she's got to stay in a little longer.
what
Yeah.
kind of mom do you wanna be, and what part do you wanna, like, pass down?
I I was always scared to be a mom because I didn't have the best relationship with my mom. Pregnancy has she's been doing good for like about 5 years, and pregnancy awakened some weird primal thing in me where I was like, I need my mom. And so we still have boundaries, but like we chat more and stuff. And I've kind of let go of being worried about being my mom. I'm like, I'm my own person. But I just want to be the mom that's like always there. Like I remember being in school and like there's the moms that were always at the, sports games, or there's a kid who like they forget their lunch and the mom brings like fast food to like make their day. Like because I, get the privilege to be a stay-at-home mom as well. So I'm just so excited to get to know her that she's probably going to be annoyed with me like because I'm just like I want to be involved in everything. I want to like know what's going on, like any just I just want her to know, like, we'll always be there, and I just want to, like, give her such a great life, you know? Like, a lot of people have a rough childhood and valid, they don't wanna have kids because 'cause they're like, "I don't want anyone to go through that. I know I can't give a kid, like, a better life than I had." But for me, it made me be like, "Wow, I wanna give a kid, like, the life I didn't," and just, like, give her opportunities and make sure I take down as many barriers in her life as I can and just, like, show her how much fun she can have in the world. Yeah, so many things. Thank you. I'm so excited, and my husband's so excited, like, we're just kind of sitting around twiddling our fingers like, "Alright, what's she gonna look like? When's she gonna get here?" Yeah.
Well, we are gonna kinda wrap up. This has been the most
Yeah.
fun chat, but I did wanna ask one
Yes.
final question. What is your final word of advice for anyone in a healing while still trying to show up season?
I would say allow yourself to have fun. I think in like my college years, that's when I was healing the most. And it honestly made me struggle to show up because I always felt like I had to, be in therapy, be listening to a new self help podcast, reading. Like I got into just the mindset of, okay, I need to fix myself faster. And I didn't let myself have fun. Like I felt like I can't have fun until I'm fixed. And just know, yeah. And that took away so much of, like, the healing experience because I, didn't go out with friends as much and stuff. So I would say and part of the healing is, like, allowing yourself to have fun when you feel like you don't deserve it, and, yeah, I looking back, I always wish I let myself have some nights out with friends because those are healing as well. When you're reprocessing stuff, it's very dark and heavy, so getting out with friends and doing self-care nights at home instead of, just doing the same thing of beating yourself up and stuff like that will really help. Like, well, I think a lot of times people try so hard to be like their highest self and stuff that they forget like we can still enjoy the human experience of, going out for drinks with a friend, like going for a walk and spending too much on coffee. those things are very healing as well and can kind of bring you back to life.
Most evolved self if you can't show up as who you are in the present.
Yeah, and I didn't understand that at the time, and now that's kind of why I've taken a step back almost from, like, self-growth. I'm still growing in other ways, but not in a sense where I'm, like, being a drill sergeant to myself, like, "Oh, you messed up again. Like, you need to get fixed faster," you know? That was, like, my obsession. Yeah. So that I would say allow yourself to have fun and, try and still go out with friends because you are still showing up that way, but it's also helping your soul.
Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much for being here, and
Of course.
we are so excited for you, and this has just been the most fun. And to my audience, I will see you next week. Have a great one.
Thank you, Courtney.